Okay, it's practice time. Let's just go through this here. Hopefully you've had a chance to do the homework. And what we're going to do now is just review a little bit. The idea here to start off with was we wanted to find the and relationships, the ones that were additive. So, which ones of these are additive? Let's find out. We'll start here. She was hungry. She did not eat lunch. Nope, this is not it. Um, you know, we could say she was hungry because she did not eat lunch. Um, so that would probably be the easiest one to do right there. I could also say maybe she was hungry, but still she did not eat lunch. Something along those lines. In any event, this is not adding information. This is information that gives us either a reason or contrasting information. Ah, well. Then we get this. She likes vegetables. She likes meat. Ding, 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 ding. Yes, this is one. This is an and relationship right here. Oh, yay. So we'll look at that in a second. Next up. She ate many vegetables. One of them was a carrot. Ooh, tricky, but you know what? Nope. This one is not an and relationship. Instead, this is more of a partitive link between ideas right here. The relationship is one is part of the other one. So one way that I could put this together would be like this. One of which was a carrot. I'm being specific here. I'm giving a specific example of what we've got. So this is not an and relationship. Ah, well. Next up, she went to the grocery store. She had no food. This is not one either. Again, this would probably work best if we just say she went to the grocery store because she had no food. This one is the reason, and this one is the result right here. All right, next up. She goes to school every day. She studies very hard at home every day. Ding, 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 ding. Here's another one. Oh, joy. So we found another and relationship. These two are related. The same idea, two predications about it. Same focus. All right. So we get that. Good. How about this one? She is a famous scientist. She is a great violinist. Ding, 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 ding. Here's another one. Woo, back to back. These two, same deal. We have one focus, two predications in each case. All right. Oh, and now here's a tricky one. It is always cold in the winter. It is always cold in Canada. Gosh, now this is tricky because we have two of the same thing here. It is always cold. It is always cold. Could we say that this is an and relationship? We could try, but it's very unclear how these two ideas are related to each other. So if I just say and in between them, it is always cold in the winter, and it is always cold in Canada. Doesn't really make a lot of sense. So because of that, even though this looks like it might be an and relationship, it's unclear. And because of that, no, we're not going to do that. Then we get this. It is always cold in the winter. It is always windy in the winter. Ding, 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 ding. Aha. In this case, it's very clear. We have one area of focus here, winter, winter. And then we have two attributes of it, windy and cold. Because of that, it's very easy to put these two together. It's clear that we've got an and relationship. All right, let's take a look at the next ones here. She did not like vegetables. She ate many vegetables. Oh, nope. Really, what we have here is conflicting information. One piece goes against the other piece. She doesn't like vegetables, but she eats the vegetables anyhow. Oh my goodness. So this is not an and relationship. Next up. It is always cold in the winter. People wear warm clothing in the winter. Is this an and relationship? It's very similar to what we've got right here, right? It is always cold in the winter. It is always cold in Canada. Two ideas that seem like, like have some sort of relationship. Yes, right here, it's cold in the winter. People wear warm clothing in the winter. Yeah, these are related, right? But we're not entirely sure how they're related. It could be, let's see here. Let's start with this. Because it is all, whoop, sorry, I don't know what bikasusa is. Because it is always cold in the winter, People wear warm clothing in the winter. It could be that. Here's our reason, and here's our result. That would make the most sense. If I just say and, I don't know how these two are related to each other. Now, you might be saying to yourself right now, wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute. You just started a sentence with because. That's not okay. Actually, yes, it is okay. That's because we have a main clause right here, and right here we have a dependent clause. If you want more information about that, please look at my video, Phrases, Clauses, and Sentences. It'll give you a little bit more information there. Anyhow, what that leaves us with is 1, 2, 3, 4 and relationships. And the next idea was, let's take these and relationships and express them in the following ways, with a conjunction, an adverb, and changing one into a phrase, and using an appropriate tool. Well, here they are. We have these four, just like we saw up top. Vegetables, meat, school, scientist, cold in the winter. Let's take them in order. We'll start with, she likes vegetables, she likes meat. Oh, and here's all our possibilities. I could say she likes vegetables and she likes meat. That way I'm using a conjunction between them. I could also say she likes vegetables and meat. The reason I do this is because we want to, again, try to remember that we try to eliminate any unnecessary pieces when we're putting clauses together. If something's specified in one clause, don't repeat it in the next clause. She likes vegetables. Also, she likes meat. Oh, there we go. This is using an adverb to connect the two. I could also do this. She likes vegetables. She also likes meat. She likes vegetables. She likes meat also. Ah, look at that. I've got also followed by a comma. Then I've got also right after she. And finally, I've got also at the end. And this is an important pattern to remember. Keeping it at the beginning of the sentence, followed by a comma, putting it right after the subject, and putting it at the end of the sentence. A lot of other words follow this same pattern, other adverbs. Let's take a look at this one. She likes vegetables. Additionally, she likes meat. Now this is a little bit different. Additionally is almost always going to go in the beginning of the clause, followed by a comma, just like that. Well, let's look at the next one here. Like we said, we're looking for conjunction, so we did that with and. Adverb, we saw that using also, and also with additionally. And now we go with changing one into a phrase and using an appropriate tool. Now remember, when we change something into a phrase, we need to look at what we've got here. She likes vegetables, she likes meat. We want to take one of them and get rid of the time on the verb. The way we do that is we usually change it into the ing form, and taking the subject and removing any subject aspect to it. So change it into her, or let's see here, do we have any other possibilities for this one? Not really, because we don't know who she is. This right here then, her liking vegetables, would be the phrase form, except, we need something else to add to it. Something like, well, we can't say additionally, I can't say also. I have to use something that has a preposition. So, in addition to her liking vegetables, she likes meat. There we go. Technically, this would be okay, but it's a little bit clunky. There's that word. Clunky. Clunky meaning, yeah, it's awkward, it's strange. So, instead of saying in addition to her liking vegetables, I probably want to get rid of this her right here, because I've already specified it right here. In addition to liking vegetables, she likes meat. And there we go. No more clunky. And that's what we see down here. In addition to liking vegetables, she also likes meat. Wait, what? Hold up. I've got also, and I've got in addition to. And this is okay. There's certain words like also and to or as well. I'll put those up here. These adverbs can be used together with adverbs like in addition to or additionally. We can use them both together and they don't conflict with one another. So we can say things like, in addition to liking vegetables, she also likes meat. Now remember, we saw these three places we could put also. We could say also she likes meat, she also likes meat, she likes meat also. There's a trick when we have a second adverb in here though. When I say in addition to liking vegetables, I cannot say also she likes meat. Nope, that does not work. So when I have one adverb right here, I can only put that also either here behind the subject, or I could put it back here at the end of the clause. There we go. So I could say, in addition to liking vegetables, she likes meat also. Or, again, I can say, in addition to vegetables, she also likes meat. And same thing, I could take this also right here, and I could move it doink, right over there. But I cannot move it right here. Let's see if Microsoft fixes that. Come on, Microsoft. We good? Oh, see? Microsoft isn't aware of that rule. That's too bad. Because of that, we have to be really careful. So keep that in mind. If I have an adverb right here, then I have to put also right behind the subject or at the end of the, I keep wanting to say phrase there, I'm sorry, at the end of the clause. And there we go. I'll put it back where it was originally. There we go. Yay. Here's a couple of other examples. We had in addition to. Here we have beyond. And same thing. With beyond, I can still put that also right here. As a matter of fact, I think I'm going to get rid of also. I'm going to put something else in here. I'm going to say as well. Aha, there's this one, as well. Now, as well is a bit of a tricky one because I cannot say that right here. I cannot say she as well likes meat. No! As well is only going to come at the end. That's it. Just at the end. That's the only place we can put it. Besides vegetables, she also likes meat. Just like that. Okay. That's all for the first one. Let's take a look at the next one. She goes to school every day. She studies very hard at home every day. Okay, well, very similar. We can say every day she goes to school and she studies very hard at home. Yeah, there we have a conjunction, putting them together. But remember that same thing we said before. If we have the same thing being repeated in both clauses, then we could probably eliminate it from one of the clauses. So here's how we would do that. Every day she goes to school and studies very hard at home. Aha! That way I don't have to put she in both places. I just put it in the first one. Okay. I can use an adverb. I can say, she goes to school every day. Beyond this, she studies very hard at home every day. Beyond this, it's just like saying additionally or furthermore, whatever it might be. Here's another one. Aside from going to school every day. This is simply taking this first sentence and turning it into a phrase. So what we see is we've got she, which means I could turn it into her, and we've got goes, which means I could turn it into going to school every day. But I see that I have this her, I've got she right here. So instead of putting that there, I get rid of it. And then I could say, aside from going to school every day, she studies very hard at home every day. There we go. So that's the deal. That's what we get aside from blah, 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 blah. In addition to going to school every day, blah, 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 blah. Here's another one. We've got as well as. She studies very hard at home every day, as well as going to school. Hey, same deal. What we've got here is this going to school. Just like we saw before, we got rid of her because we've already specified it in the other clause here. In this case, what we have is the main clause first, just like we see right up here. Jump, bump, bump. There we go. And we see it right here, too. She studies very hard at home. Oh, and look, we've got an as well at the end right here. Again, as well is always going to come at the end, never at the beginning. But you'll notice these two are at the end. This one is at the beginning. That's okay. When we put clauses together, we can flip the order. That's not a problem, as long as we are very clear about the role each one is playing. As long as we specify the relationship between the two, then we're okay. And that's what we see right here, as well as. As well as simply means, oh, and. This is another thing that we do. And notice there's a difference between as well and as well as. There we go. I know it seems small, but we've got as well as. Once I have this as right here, this is a preposition. Because it's a preposition, it requires a noun right after it. If I just have as well, it's not a preposition, it's actually an adverb, just like tomorrow, quickly, slowly, whatever it might be right there. This is an adverb. This right here is actually a preposition, so we have to be careful with that. Always put a noun phrase after it. All right, so those are the three types again. Here we have a conjunction. Here we have an adverb. Here we have taking one of the clauses and turning it into a phrase. Once again, we see that ing form right there, and we've gotten rid of the subject because we've got the subject right here. Right here we've got in addition to, oh, same deal, turned it into a phrase. And look at this. We've got this as well at the end here that we mentioned before. You know what? We don't have also or as well in this one. If I wanted to put an also in here, where would I put it? Go ahead and pause the video right now and think about this. If I wanted to put also in here, where would I put it? There you go, 3, 2, 1, pause. Okay, hopefully you thought about it for a second and now you're looking at it now. We could put the also right here, not a problem. We could put the also right here, not a problem. Yay, those two places. We cannot put the also right here. That does not work. So, two places. I could say she also studies right here, or I could say she studies very hard at home every day also, just like that. Okay, let's move on. She is a famous scientist. She's a great violinist. We don't really need to go through all the details right here because we see it's pretty much the same thing. She is a famous scientist and a great violinist. Wait a minute, what? We got rid of she is in the second part because we don't need it. We've already specified it in the first clause. I could do this too. She is a famous scientist. She is also a great violinist. Ah, and look at this. We've got our also right here. So where else could we put the also? If we think about it, I could put it right here. Also, she is a great violinist. I could put it right there. Or I could put it right here. She is a great violinist also. That works just as well. Now you'll notice there's a trick right here. And you're like, well, wait a minute. Shouldn't I put the also right here? She also is a great violinist. Yes, that's fine. There's only one time where we could take this also and put it after the verb like that, and that's when it's the to be verb. Because here's a little secret, the to be verb isn't really a verb. And if you have any questions about that, please feel free to ask me. Believe me, I've had to argue with many, many people about that in the past, but go ask a linguist. To be is not really a verb. Okay, I could do this. She is a famous scientist. She is a great violinist, too. I could change this to into as well. That's another one that would work. Here's another one. As well as. Oh, just like we looked at before. As well as. A preposition. Being a famous scientist. Aha. She is a great violinist. Great. No big issue right there. Same thing, we got the ing form of is. And remember, is comes from the verb be. Because of that, when we want to put it into the ing form, we have to say being. And I know that sounds kind of strange, but that's what we do. As well as being a famous scientist, she is a great violinist. Great. Same thing right here. I can take the as well as and change it into beyond. Same deal. Beyond being a famous scientist, she is a great violinist as well. And there's that as well. Same deal, if I wanted to, I could put an also in there, whatever it might be. And finally, we have these ones. It's always cold in the winter, it's always windy in the winter. And you know what? We don't need to go into any details right here because it's just the same as what we've seen before. Not a big deal. So let's recap briefly. One thing to keep in mind. Oop. Also, as well, and to. You can use these together with other adverbs. So I can say, in addition to blah, blah, blah. Let's see here. It has to be something like subject, whatever it might be. I, you, he, she, it. Also, blah, 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 blah. So I can do that. Or I could also do this. Blah, 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 blah. Also, just like that. And finally, I could do in addition to blah, 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 blah. Subject, let's see here. Oh, do we want to put it anywhere else? Let's see here. Nope. That's the only one that we can do with those. Aha, yep. Only two situations there. Because we've got an extra adverb right here. Once we have the other two right there, they're only going to work like this. In addition to blah, 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 blah. Blah, 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 blah. As well, or to. Just like that. So we've seen that. We talked briefly about the fact that we want to eliminate unnecessary parts of one clause if they are present in the other one. So we saw examples of that, like here. It is always cold and windy in the winter. I don't have to say it is always cold and it is always windy in the winter. You know, if I've got this, it is always and it is always, I can take away one of them. And that makes it easier. I don't need to repeat them. And that's basically that. Okay, that's all the homework review that we'll do for now. Please feel free to check in with the next video, which will talk about adversative relationships. That's basically but type relationships, you know. This happened, but this happened afterwards. And that's basically that. Hope this has proven a little bit useful, if not terribly annoying. Anyhow, good luck. See you later.